Hello, starting May 5th, the U.S. Department of Education is going to resume collections on defaulted federal student loans. Hello, my name is Shantae, and I'm here to give you the breakdown of what it means for the 5.3 million borrowers who are currently in default and every other student loan borrower. This is a follow-up to my earlier video that I did a few weeks ago in regards to everything that is happening with the IDR programs and the PSLF programs, to stop them, to remove them from the student federal aid website, removing all applications. So if you missed that video, it is pinned to my YouTube channel. You definitely want to check it out and share this video and others with anyone you know who is a existing student who plans to become a student that will require any type of federal aid, and any existing borrower friends, family, colleagues that you know, because this is going to impact millions of student loan borrowers, millions that have no idea what is happening, that are not in the loop, and there's been just so much chaos that is going on. This is urgency. So that's why I'm here, taking out the time out of my day to really help you understand why it's important for you to have the knowledge, have access to the information so that you can advocate for yourself, and you can take any necessary actions that will help you as a student loan borrower, as an entrepreneur, as someone that wants to buy a home, that wants to buy a car, anything that you want to do, and you have a student loan, is going to impact it. Okay. I invite you to ask questions. I encourage you to please like this video, share it out, tag anyone you need to tag in this video who needs to see this, because this is really important information that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And this will not be the last time I'll be sharing information. So as a reminder, as I stated when I opened up this broadcast, and welcome to any new follower, any new viewer who is tuning in, welcome here. Starting May 5th, they are going to start collections. Now, by law, they have to, when I say they, the federal government, the Department of Education, has to give a 30-day notice to borrowers before they do any collections on you. But unfortunately, this administration has not been following the law in many instances. And you have to understand that you have rights as a student loan borrower, okay? So again, they're getting ready to start that. Now, they announced in a press release what they're doing, what is happening, what they're getting ready to do. And I actually put that in the description of this video for you to go reference for yourself on the Department of Education website, okay? They announced that this is what is happening. And they also said, or stated, that they will start sending out notifications. What I mean by notifications, email notifications. They said that they will be sending letters by mail. They're going to be doing a campaign. I have yet to see this happen. I haven't received an email from the Department of Education, I think, since sometime last year. Okay, so this is not the only action that is going to negatively impact student loan borrowers. Okay, this is just the latest of what is happening that is impacting us as a whole. Let me just state, if you don't know that, what does it mean to be in default? It means that if you are a student loan borrower and you have fallen behind at least 270 days, then you are considered in default, okay, of your student loan. Okay. Now, let me take you back take you back to what happened and let you know how and what this is going to affect. So when I say that they're going to resume collections, some of you may say, "Oh, I gave up. gave up on my student loans. I'm not really thinking about it, right? Yeah, that was all fine and good when we were under the rules that were put in place under the pandemic, knowing that people could not work. So that impacted our livelihood. Excuse me, just a second. That impacted our livelihood. So they didn't want to further negatively impact people that were already struggling during the pandemic. So they stopped all collections effective March 20th. And there have been no collections, nobody going to collections, nothing being reported to the credit bureaus. All of that stopped March of 2020. Okay, so there has been a pandemic pause. That pause ended October of last year, 2024. Under the Biden administration, they put in place a Fresh Start program that ended September 2024. And that program was implemented to help borrowers quickly get out of default before collections were to resume. Now, they kept pushing back the time to start collections because they knew, again, where the state of the country and the world is, and the financial strain that Americans were still under and continue to still be under. However, this administration is pushing forward with those collections. Now, again, May 5th is the starting date. It will affect millions of student loan borrowers. This will include Treasury offsets. They stopped the Treasury offsets. So even when they were giving out pandemic money, some of the money that you received, it was not offset if you were already in default. If you owed any money to the federal government, they stopped those collections. Now those are going to restart. If you have Social Security benefits are at risk, tax refunds are at risk, because this is typically how it works if you're in default. Example, if you receive a tax refund, so you just filed your taxes and you're due $5,000, and say you owe $5,000 to the federal government, they are going to offset what you owe, okay, your money. So instead of getting $5,000, you're going to get zero. That is how it typically works. They're going to be potentially garnishing wages. They already stated that they're going to do this starting with the federal workers. So if you're a federal employee, they're going to be start garnishing your wages. They're not going to stop there. So that's why this is important for you to know, because many borrowers are confused. They don't even know what's happening. They're going to look up one day and they're going to see that their paycheck has been garnished and wonder why it's been garnished. They're going to be expecting a refund and see that they didn't get their refund. They're going to be expecting their Social Security benefits and see, oh, well, it's lower than what I'm expecting, or I didn't get anything at all because of the student loan collections that are about to be in place. So again, as a reminder, please share out this video. Please tell everybody you know what is happening, because it has the potential to affect you. And again, 5.3 million borrowers are currently in default. That doesn't take into account those that are on the verge. There's millions on the verge. So they're 60 days late. Right? Or there's some on the verge in a month from now or 2 months from now, they will be in default on their student loans. And so this will impact them as well. I have the release in here. Let me explain some significant problems this action is causing that you should know. Let's first start with the Department of Education has been gutted. So if you don't know, the current administration has already started gutting the Department of Education through forced firings, oftentimes like illegal. And they did this under unelected group called Dodge that went in and just started dismantling. So at the same time they're dismantling, they're causing further chaos. They're throwing people disrupting the system, and now they're calling for to start collections when everything is chaotic and in limbo. Like the communications are inconsistent that are coming out from this administration and the Department of Education. So for them to throw people in collections and then not have the staff to support it is going to be even more problematic. The confusion that this brings to borrowers is massive, because again, this is just the latest of so many things that have been happening, that the borrowers are confused, the servicers are confused about what's happening. They were told to even stop taking applications. They cut off the system for any type of repayment program or forgiveness program. But at the same time, if you look on their website, they're blaming student loan borrowers. Like we don't want to pay our student loans back. Like we are not struggling under the current economic conditions and political conditions is crazy. Okay, but this is what is happening. Again, millions of borrowers are in legal limbo. An example of that is borrowers like myself, 8 million of us that are under the SAVE plan that is in legal limbo in the courts. They haven't made a decision on SAVE plan or what to do. And so again, we were told in 2024, okay, since we're in limbo, you're going to be put in forbearance, and when you're in forbearance, then your time in forbearance will not count towards your IDR repayment and forgiveness counts, right? And you can try to get into another IDR program where at the same then after that, they remove the option to even apply to a different program. They removed it from the studentaid.gov website. They told servicers that they could not accept any applications. They couldn't process any applications. So you see how confusing this is for borrowers. You're going to have call centers that are overwhelmed by the influx of calls that are going to be coming in once people find out that this is happening, right? You're talking about millions and millions and millions upon millions of student loan borrowers that all of these changes that are being made is impacting. This is something really important that I wanted to make sure I mentioned, that I didn't forget. And that's the awareness of additional negative impacts to you as a student loan borrower. And we're talking about those financial impacts because they knew how, if they did not, under the previous administration, if they did not put a pause on collections, that would throw us into such chaos, a recession that many of us have never, ever seen, devastating conditions that we have never, ever experienced, many of us, okay? The financial impacts that this is going to have on a country that is already financially strained. So just imagine you're trying to manage your bills right now, everything that you have going on, and you're made to pay $1,000, $2,000 a month that you don't have in student loans. This is also going to impact your credit. Now, we already know how important credit is, our personal credit, and all the things that it impacts when we're trying to better our lives, when we're trying to make purchases. That is going to affect you because now it's going to be recorded on your credit, where it has not been for the last 5 years. In addition to that, it's going to impact your ability to buy a home. So home ownership, other purchases that you're trying to make, if you're trying to buy a car. This is my recommendation. If you are currently in the home buying process, I would recommend that you try to close out your purchase before May 5th. Okay, let me say that again. If you are in the home buying process and you are in default, on the verge of default, I would highly encourage you, encourage you to close on your home before May 5th. And please share this information with other people that you know. Why? Because when this hits, it's going to hit your credit, and it's going to possibly delay or prevent you from being able to purchase the home of your dreams that you are trying to purchase. If you're trying to purchase a vehicle or something else, it may impact your ability to make that purchase, or it's going to send that purchase. If you're trying to buy a car, the rates are going to skyrocket. So because they have this data right now, it's not impacting your credit because all of that was put on hold the minute they pushed the button already. They pushed the button already. So that is going to affect you again. So if you're a realtor, if you're a mortgage, a lender, if you're in the mortgage industry, please share this with your customers and clients that you serve to put them on alert to take action. Provide, borrower education to them and help them to be able to mitigate and navigate the process. That's going to be really important. Here are some ways to get out of default. So we know to get out of default, you can pay your loan in full. But for the millions of borrowers that are in default, if you could have paid it off in full, you would have. Okay. So many of us are not in a situation that we can do that. But that is one way to do it. Enroll in an IDR program. Now I was just on the studentaid.gov website. So the programs, the app are back up on the website. They were removed. You could not apply, but they're back on the website, and you can now apply to an income-driven repayment program. So I would encourage you to do that. If you are in forbearance or deferment, I encourage you to get off of deferment or forbearance if you can and get into an IDR program. What comes with the IDR program is not only it helps you, helps you to lower your payments, but then you start account towards forgiveness. So after a certain time, so whether it's PSLF, then you can get forgiveness after 10 years. If you're on the IDR program, then you can get forgiveness after 20 or 25 years. So again, if you're new to this or new graduate, you've been in forbearance or deferment, that's not where you want to stay. That was a problem before all the improvements that were made under the Biden administration, is that servicers were just putting you in deferment or forbearance or allowing you to do that and not even telling you to get into an IDR program that is going to be better, more beneficial to you. Okay. Loan consolidation. You can consolidate your loan. Consolidating your loan will take you out of default. Okay. Also, getting into a loan rehabilitation program will get you out of default. What you want to do, so the government has a debt resolution, and I posted this on my Facebook page, and I'll drop the telephone number into the comments after I finish this live broadcast. So you have the direct number, but you can call and should call your servicer. If you have never called your servicer, if you don't know who your servicer is, you need to find out who your servicer is, because some of them have changed. Okay. In the last 2 years, if you don't know who your servicer is or who your loan was transferred to, log into your studentaid.gov account. I would encourage you to do that anyway. And find out your loan servicer is listed there. Call them, get an update status on your loan, where you're at, what actions you can take, what options there are. They are there to help you with that process. Don't just leave it up to chance or this administration to just do everything that they're doing. There's things that we can do to stop it and to advocate for ourselves and for others. So there are options for all of you all that are currently in default, those who are on the verge of default. Here's the thing. I can share the information, but I can't make you take action. I know people, I've helped so many people not only get out of default, but get student loan forgiveness. But there's so many that never took action, or so many that never came across the information, my video, to know what is happening, to be able to take action. That's why it's so important to share information. Okay. But it's up to you to take action. I know it's frustrating. I know it's difficult, but we have to be so persistent, and we can't give up, and we have to know and understand that we have power as student loan borrowers. We have a contract. It's not just a contract that we will pay back our student loans. It's a contract for these programs that we're in that says that the federal government will do their part. Okay, that they would do their part, the servicers would do their part, to make sure that we're in the appropriate program, to make sure that we get forgiveness, to make sure that if we are in a situation where as a student we've been taken advantage of by a school, that there's actions that we can take and that they need to take. So all of these things are there, but they were not always enforced. They were always not done in our best interest. It was not always put in place where if we qualify for forgiveness, we got it, or we apply for a defense program, for defense of a situation where we did not get the education that we were supposed to, or they overpromised and underdelivered. There was a process in place that was never told to us or was never followed through on. PSLF applications that were just not processed, right? Until the Biden administration revamped it and then started processing all of this forgiveness, and people's student loans got canceled. So I reject the narrative that student loan borrowers are just taking out loans and don't want to pay them back and just think, they don't need to pay them back. The federal government has their responsibility as well. And they have not, over years, you're talking about years, held up to their end. And for years, they have made it where it's so difficult for student loan borrowers to even pay it back with this compounding interest, that shouldn't even be there, right? It shouldn't even be that you can never, ever pay your student loans back, or you're into retirement age, you're 70 and 80, still paying on a student loan debt from when you were 18. Make it make sense. So these are the things that are happening. So there are ways that you can get out of default. I wanted to share those with you. Now, I also wanted to remind you as well of the video that I did previously on the IDR program and the PSLF that were under attack. They're still under attack. So just because they put them back on the website does not mean that they're not under attack, because they are. They just did this. So like, even if you call your servicers, they're still trying to figure out what's going on, what they should do, what the process is. So it's still a lot of chaos. So if you call them and there's long hold times or you can't get through, don't stop. Keep trying to get through and talk to someone and get answers that you deserve as a student loan borrower. Go and watch the replay of my previous video, because I go into detail about the IDR program and the PSLF program that were there. They just took them away. So for what? So again, when you're talking about student loan borrowers, this is an agreement. It's a contractual agreement between us, the borrower, and the federal government. And they decided, hey, we don't think that you deserve to be on a payment plan. We don't think that you deserve to have forgiveness under the programs that were put into law, that is legally binding. And we're just going to remove them from the website. We're going to stop all applications. So again, throwing everything in chaos, confusion, And then, okay, now it's back on the website. So many of you all don't even know these things have taken place, but they have. I know that what has been happening, and I've been in contact with not only the Department of Education, but my student loan servicer as well. Now, these are some steps that you can take. I want to remind you that millions of borrowers are being impacted. There are still miscalculations. So what you calculations of the, if you go on to studentaid.gov, you will see that there should be, I think they're still in process, but you should see on your dashboard updated counts that were never there before. Okay, these are new. So updated counts on where you should be if you are an IDR program, how long you paid into the program, and how long you have until your loan is forgiven. Now, mine is incorrect. So I'm already in conversations with my servicer. I've already filed 2 complaints with the Department of Education, and you will see the link on the screen for my bar advocacy guide. I have all the details of who to contact, how to contact them, scripts, all of the things you need to do to advocate on your own behalf. That's what I'm doing, because my loan should already be forgiven. They should already be forgiven. But according to the counts on my dashboard on the website, it says which is good. It says my loan should be forgiven around about September of 2026. But that's still incorrect. And because of the legal battle with Save, they've stopped my count. So although it should be forgiven around that time, because they're not counting because of the legal battle that's going on, it's not going to be forgiven if I don't do something, or if they don't do something. So I'm continuing to take action on my behalf because it should have been forgiven already. Okay, so there are millions of you all in that same position. So I encourage you to advocate for yourself. You want to log into your student aid account. Get very familiar, because like I said, they were deleting stuff, removing stuff. So I screenshotted everything. So log in. I encourage you, save everything, screenshot everything, all your payment counts, all your student loan data, all the amounts, the loan amounts, everything that's on there. Don't leave it up to chance. Don't leave it up to it being removed or deleted or changed, because you will need documentation to support as you advocate for yourself, or if you decide to take any form of legal action or join some legal initiative like a class action lawsuit, which I encourage for student loan borrowers about many of the things that are going on. So you want to log into your account, save your information, screenshot it, create a file for yourself in Google Drive. That's what I did. And I uploaded everything that's there. I didn't put it on my computer. So I don't want to risk if something breaks down on my computer, is not there. So you want to make sure that you can access it. If you need additional assistance, again, I encourage you to pick up my the bar complaint and advocacy guide that's going to walk you through every step, including where and how to file complaints to get your payments corrected, pre-written scripts to use when contacting the Department of Education. And you don't want to start there. There are consumer rights groups. There's the state consumer rights groups. There's the Attorney General's office. So I included all of those there. You are, as a borrower, you are a consumer. So you have borrower rights and you have consumer rights, and there are consumer rights agencies that you can reach out to and connect with and advocate for yourself to fight back against these things that are negatively impacting you as a borrower. Because it's not just impacting you, it's impacting your family. Is impacting everything that you do. We as entrepreneurs know, like, student loans is at the top of the list of things that impact entrepreneurs and small business owners negatively, that cause a hindrance to us building generational wealth. It is at the top of the list. For many, that is the only thing that is hindering them financially, from a financial perspective, is their student loan. Okay. Also in the guide, how to document and protect your loan history, legal options that you can take if your payments are wrongly denied. If your payments are denied, if your forgiveness applications are denied, there's things that you can do. We need to act like this is a case of emergency, because it is. Like it's a state of emergency, because it is. This is a time where the administration is acting fast, but I feel like we're not acting fast enough. We are behind the ball, and we need to at least get caught up and get ahead of what is happening, because we have to expect they are dismantling the Department of Education. So for so many people, I don't know if you know what this means for education. Not just what this means for student loans, not what this means for student loan borrowers, what this means for education for our children now and in the future, for student loan borrowers now and in the future. Decisions we make now, that are being made now, what I think people don't understand, the impacts are not just a year. It's just like, an example is COVID. People act as if, okay, a COVID happened, but that there are not long effects into the future. You're talking about 10, 15, 20 years. Any economic crisis, any political crisis is not, oh, okay, it's over and we just pick up and everything just we pick up where we left off and everything just gets better. It takes action from all of us, and it takes time. Things don't change, doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't, right? But there's things that we can do. But I think there's things that we can do, and we need to do more. And so what I share with you are things that you can do now as a student loan borrower. So you need to be advocating, calling, showing up at the town halls in your states. If you're a leader, run for office. I see so many of my peers running for elected offices on the local level. We got to get involved on the local level. That's what it's going to take. A grassroots effort, getting involved on your local level, starting a community meeting, community groups, joining community meetings and community groups to voice your opinions, voice your concerns, to let them know how you're being impacted. You have to force them. If you think they're going to do what they need to do on your behalf, they're not, without you showing up and telling them and demanding them to take action on your behalf, for which they were hired to serve you. They were hired into office to serve us. And if they're not doing that for you, you need to do something about it. You need to know that you have power to do something about it. And I'm so proud to see people showing up around the country. But I feel like we need to be doing more, because the train is moving so fast. The destruction is happening at such lightning speed that our resistance has to match that speed. Our resistance and our advocacy has to match that speed. We can't just be blinded and keep being blindsided by what is happening. Expect that these things are going to happen, and let's get in front of it. And you have to call and call and call and call and call till they have no choice but to take action on your behalf. You have to knock on doors and show it, like they did, showing up at the Capitol and showing up at these public offices, to let them know, like, this is not a benefit to you, that this is not a benefit to your community, and it's not a benefit to the country that we live in. It's going to take us to make the change and to say no more. To say that we are not going to be accepting of what is happening. Now is the time. Now is the time. So again, this is for education. I'm here because I'm for education. I'm a supporter and advocate for student loan borrowers, for educators, for students across the board. And everyone is being impacted by these by the uprising that is happening, by these changes, and again, oftentimes just illegal. But by the time it gets to the court, and the court has, they're doing it strategically, and we have to be strategic. They're doing things so fast so that the impact is felt before anybody has a chance to even respond or take action, or for legal filings to be to go through, or for the courts to take any type of action. So we have to be defenders of ourselves and defenders of our rights that we have. So this is my reminder to you that you have rights, and this is my reminder to you that you have power. And we have to start using our power. We can't just throw up our hands and just say, oh well. No, no, we can't do that. There's definitely things that you can do, and there's things that I'm doing. I just keep going, and I keep following up, and if I don't get a response that I'm demanding from a particular entity or agency, I go to another one, and I keep going until I get the answers and get the action that I'm wanting, that I need and I deserve. So let me see if there's any questions out here. So Dinky is saying, I'm already in a forbearance until August. Do I need to call and get IDR? So you need to understand, what does it really mean to be on deferment or forbearance? And for most people, when they hear these words, they're just like, oh, I don't have to pay anything. And they don't think anything further. Right? I've been on deferment. I've been on forbearance. I'm on forbearance now, although I shouldn't be. I'm in an IDR program that's under, again, in the legal system, right? To try to determine if it's legal. Okay. So my recommendation for you is to contact your servicer and ask them. They should be knowledgeable. What does it mean beyond me paying zero that I'm in forbearance, right? What does that mean for me? And what is the alternative? Can you tell me about the IDR program and what those options are? So then I can, and you can actually go to studentaid.gov and do a comparison of the IDR programs to see which is best for you. And I would do that, then call them so that you at least have some information or point of reference before you actually call them. And then see what it is that they say, and then make a decision. But my recommendation, if you can, to get on IDR. Now, this was a few years ago. Now, this was like at the early stages of COVID. I was talking to a friend who makes a good amount of money. And what she stated to me is that even with the IDR program, the payments were really, 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 they were high. So they're supposed to be lower because they have other forgiveness programs that are not forgiveness programs, but other payment plans that are also listed on the website that you're supposed to automatically go into when you become a student, when you move from student to borrower, and you get out of the grace period or out of that early deferment when you come out of school. So typically when you come out of school, everybody is on like a 6-month deferment before your grace period and deferment until your payments start happening. But I recommend, if you can, to get in an IDR program, because on forbearance or deferment, you're not working toward nothing. None of those months that you are on deferment or forbearance are going towards PSLF. It's not going towards IDR forgiveness. It's not going towards any of that. And just a reminder, I mentioned this in the last video, but for PSLF, They have come after that program as well, and everybody that's on it, to say just, oh, if the organization that you work with or that you qualify or you meet the eligibility through doesn't agree with us, doesn't do what we want them to do, then we're not going to consider any student that is in the program eligible for PSLF. So you could be eligible right now. You could be right now in the pipeline for forgiveness, and they just decided that the organization that you met eligibility for is no longer eligible, an eligible employer. And you can also go on the studentaid.gov to see which employers are eligible employers, so nonprofits, organizations, and the like. So I would encourage you all to do that. Again, be advocates for yourself. Go watch the previous video, like and share, comment. Let me know where you are in your journey. Are you a student? Are you a student loan borrower? Have you gotten forgiveness? Are you in line for forgiveness? Are you in the forgiveness programs? Leave any questions you have, and I'll be sure to come back and respond. Stay tuned, because I will be sharing additional information again on how we can prepare ourselves economically for where we are now and where we're going in the future. Because there's many things that we can do. And so I just want to make sure that I share with you so that, again, you can educate yourself, you can educate your family and your communities around you. And so we can make this a better country for ourselves, our communities, and our communities alike. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day.